Hi, welcome to my video on solve equations with rational exponents. Let's solve for x. Recall, the product of a number and its reciprocal is 1. Examples, a half times 2, 2 over 1, the 2's cancel, and I get a 1. Negative 3 over 4, reciprocal negative 4 over 3. Negative times negative is positive. The 4's cancel out with 1's. 3's cancel out with 1. So we get a 1. 2 over 7 times 7 over 2 reciprocals. The 2's cancel. The 7's cancel. And I get 1. We could also say 2 times 7 is 14. 7 times 2 is 14. Makes a 1. And the same here. That's negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. And 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 divided by 12 is 1. So any number multiplied by its reciprocal is 1. And remember, 0 does not have a reciprocal. So a number 1/3, reciprocal is 3 over 1 or 3. So 1/3 times 3 equals the 3's cancel, and we get a 1. Negative 4 over 5 times 5 over 4 negative. Negative 4 over 5 times negative 5 over 4. And again, the negative times negative is a positive. The 5's cancel 1's, the 4's cancel 1's, and we get a 1. Or we could say we have a 20 over 20, which is 1. 6 is 6 over 1. Reciprocal is 1 over 6. So 6 times 1 over 6. The 6's cancel, and I get a 1. Negative 4 over 1. Reciprocal is a negative 1 over 4. So negative 4 times negative 1 over 4. And again is over 1. So negative times negative is positive. The 4's cancel, and we get a 1. Just a little bit of practice on doing the reciprocal of a number. Solve equation with rational exponents. I'm going to follow these steps. I'm going to isolate the term with the rational exponent. Find the reciprocal of the rational exponent. Place the reciprocal as a power of each side. Simplify each side. Solve for x, and then we're going to check the values. Because sometimes the values we get might not work. So we're checking. Let's do some examples. Example number 1, solve for x and check. We have x to the 1/2 equals 3. The radical or the exponential is separate, so the reciprocal of a half is 2, so we're going to square each side. The 2's cancel, so we get x to the 1. 3 squared is 9, and we check it, so x equals 9. So x 1/2 equals 3. We're subbing the 9 in. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 equals 3. We could also do this one as 3 squared to the half. Change your 9 to 3 squared. Cancel exponents, we get a 3. Or, as I just said it was the square root of 9. We could have done it with 9 to the 1/2 is the square root of 9, and that's a 3. So either way, change the 9 to 3 squared and cancel the exponents, or change the half to a root and to the square root of 9. Either will do it correctly. Some more examples. Solve for x and check. And we have the 3/4. A binomial raised to the 3/4 power equals 27. Reciprocal is the exponential is already isolated. So the 3/4 is the exponent. So the reciprocal is 4 over 3. So we do 4 over 3 for each side. Notice they cancel out to give me x plus 2 to the 1. And 27, two ways to do this. I can either go 27 is 3 cubed to the 4/3. The 3's cancel, so I get x plus 2 equals 3 to the 4th power is 81. X equals 81 minus 2, x equals 79. And let's just check. X equals 79. So we have x plus 2 3/4 equals 27. So x is 79 plus 2 equals 3/4. And 79 plus 2 is 81 to the 3/4. 81 is 3 to the 4th power. The 4's cancel because we're multiplying the exponents, power of a power. That's 3 cubed. And that's 27 equals 27. So therefore, 79 is the correct answer. And we have C, the 5th root of x cubed plus 1 equals 9. We have to isolate the root. So we have 9 minus 1. So that's the 5th root of x cubed equals 8. And we change x to the 3/5. That's the radical change to an exponential. And the exponent now is 3/5, so we'll raise it to the 5/3. 8 to the 5/3 on each side. Power of power, they all cancel out because the reciprocal is x to the 1. And 8 is 2 cubed. The 3's cancel, so I get 2 to the 5. So x becomes 2 to the 5th power is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. And we want to check x equals 32 in the equation. So we're going to check it. 5th root of x cubed plus 1 equals 9. So I sub in 32 for x plus 1 equals 9. And rather than cube to 32, I'm going to take 32. 32 is 4 times 8. 4 is 2 times 2. 8 is 4 times 2, so it's 2 times 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2's, so that's 2 to the 5th power cubed. And we got a power of a power, so that's 2 to the 15. And so we have an exponential radical, change it to exponential form, so it's 15 divided by 5. So that's 2. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And we have 2 cubed is 8 plus 1. 9 equals 9, correct, so 32 is the correct answer. D, x to the 2/3 equals 4, so already isolated, so the reciprocal power is 3/2, 4 to the 3/2, they cancel. I get x to the 1 equals 4 is 2 squared to the 3/2, the 2's cancel, so 2 cubed is 8. But there's something we have to remember here, that I'm going to do this another way. X to the 2/3 equals 4. When you have an even, when your numerator of the fraction is an even power, we have to be very cognizant that there's more than one answer. Let me explain. Let's cube this. Let's take that's a 3 on the bottom, so let's cube each of these. So the 3's cancel out, so I get an x squared equals 4 cubed is 64. So that means that x squared is 64. X, the square root of x squared, is plus or minus the square root of 64. So x is equal to plus or minus 8. That means instead of just having an 8 for the answer, which I have this way, I also have a negative 8. So I've got to be very cognizant of this even power here, because you can see you're squaring a number. So what number squared gives you 64? And that's 8 or negative 8. So let's check the 8 and let's check the negative 8 to see if both of them work. So I have x to the 2/3 equals 4. 8 is my root, and I could do 2 cubed, or I could just do the cube root. I'm just doing a variation. That's the cube root of 8 squared. Cube root of 8 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Remember now, I could have, if I wanted to, I could have also done 2 cubed to the 2/3. They would have canceled. I would have got 2 squared, which is 4. So you can either raise the 8 to a 2 cubed and cancel to get 2 squared, or you can go cube root of 8, and which is 2, but the square is remaining outside. Either or. Let's try negative 8. X to the 2/3 equals 4. That's the equation. I'm going to put a negative 8 in. And again, the cube root of a negative 8, all squared. Cube root of a negative 8 is a negative 2. And a negative 2 squared is 4. So you can see that there's 2 answers. So you got to be cognizant of this square. So if I had an 8, then I would also have a negative 8. So working it out like this allows you to get the 2 answers. But if you didn't, be cognizant, because you're squaring, then you're going to get 2 answers, 1 plus and 1 minus. Just be careful. And we have some practice. Solve for x and check. Practice. Practice means you can pause the video and work each one out and press play when you get it done to see if you get the right answer. Here we go. We have a fraction as an exponent, so the reciprocal of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. So they cancel top and bottom to give us a 1. And 27, I could do cube root, or I could do 27 is 3 cubed to the 2/3. 3's cancel. So 3 squared is 9. So, and again, just want to check that. I could have done cube root of 27 squared, which is 3 squared, which is 9. So again, 2 ways. 27 is 2 cubed, cancel the 3's to get a 9, or do the cube root, your choice. But x equals 9 is the answer. So x to the 3 over 2 equals 27. We have x is 9. And again, we can raise 9 to 3 squared, or we can do the square root of 9 cubed. And the square root of 9 is 3. And 3 cubed, 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So 9 is the correct answer. We checked it. Okay, we have an even power here. So we got to be cognizant of an even power. One way I'm going to do this is go 1 over x squared equals 1 over 9. The negative exponent does the reciprocal of 1 over. Notice that numerators are equal, so therefore x squared equals 9. That means the square root of x squared equals plus or minus the square root of 9. So x equals plus or minus 3. Again, just show you another little. Sometimes you can move the 9 to the left side and make it negative. This is factorable as the difference of 2 squares. X. 9 is 3 plus minus. So we get x plus 3 equals 0. X minus 3 is equal to 0. X is negative 3, or x is 3. Or we could have done it this way. When we did the section on quadratics, solving quadratics, this was explained over and over and over. So we have 9, 2 roots, again because of the square. Notice the negative 2 is over 1. Your numerator of this fraction is a square, so there's 2 possible answers. So x is equal to 3, or x is equal to negative 3. Let's check both. So x to the negative 2 equals 1/9. X is 3 to the negative 2 is 1/9. negative exponent is 1 over 3 squared. So that's 1 over 9. So 3 is okay. So x to the negative 2 equals 1/9. X is negative 3. Notice I had to put it in brackets because it's negative. If I don't put it in brackets, if I did this like that without the bracket, then this means that's the negative of 3 to the negative 2. So that's this. And that's going to be negative 1/9. So be careful. When you sub in the negative 3 here, you put it in brackets to this power. That makes it 1 over negative 3 squared, which is 1 over 9. So be careful. When you sub it in, put a bracket around it because of this power. If you don't, you're doing it like this, and this gives you negative 1/9. Be careful. Number 3, we have the exponentials already isolated. So the reciprocal power is negative 3. So half to the negative 3. So negative times negative is positive, so 3's cancel. So it gives us 2x plus 3 to the 1 power. And we have 1/2 to the negative 3, so that's 2 cubed. The negative exponent does the reciprocal of the half. So 2x plus 3, 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So 2x equals 8 minus 3. 2x equals 5. Divide by 2, x equals 5 over 2. So let's take x equals 5 over 2 and check it. So we have 2x plus 3 to the negative 1/3 power equals a half. So we're going to sub in 5 over 2 for x. And we'll work the inside the bracket by PEMDAS. 2 times 5 over 2 cancel. It gives us 5 plus 3. I'll do one step at a time. That gives us an 8 to the negative 3. 3 negative 1/3. And 8 is 2 cubed. And the 3's cancel. So that's 2 to the negative 1 equals 1/2. 2 to the negative 1 is 1 over 2 to the 1, or 1 over 2. So the answer is x is 5 over 2. Okay, let's do the next page. Do some more examples. Solve for x and check. So again, pause the video and see if you can work these out, and then press playback to see if you're right. And we have to isolate our radical or our root. So we got the 4th root of x minus 2 cubed equals negative 9 plus 1. So that's the 4th root of x minus 2 cubed equals negative 8. So that's x minus 2. That's a radical, so we'll change it to an exponential. So it's 3 divided by 4. And we have 3/4, so the reciprocal of 3 over 4 is 4 over 3. So we raise each side to the 4 over 3. And the reciprocals, when you multiply, they cancel and you get 1. So x minus 2 to the 1 power. And this is the cube root of 8, negative 8. So that's negative of negative 2 to the 4th power. And again, I did this. I did the cube root of negative 8 to the 4th power. And the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. So that gives us negative 2 to the 4th power. Notice it's in brackets. That gives us 16, because the negatives, 4 negatives will give you positive. And 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So x equals 16 plus 2. X equals 18. So let's check our answer. X equals 18. We'll sub it into the equation. 4th root of x minus 2 cubed minus 1 equals negative 9. And we're putting 18 in the place of x. simplify inside the root first, like simplifying inside of a bracket. You get 16 cubed minus 1 equals negative 9. Now I could cube 16, but it's a little bit faster. If you don't have a calculator, or if you do, don't make any difference. 16 is 2 to the 4. And we got a power of a power, so we get 4 times 3 is 12. And that's the root, so let's change it to an exponential. So that's 12 divided by 4. So that's 2 to the 3 minus 1 equals negative 9. So that's 8 minus 1 equals negative 9. So 7 equals negative 9. If everything is done right, how can that be? That's not right. So 18 is not a solution. So this question has no solution. And you might say, well, how come? Well, look back. This is a fourth root. And the fourth root of a number, this number in here, has to be positive. So the fourth root of this number, or whatever this is, it's got to be positive. And how can a positive number, subtract 1, give you a negative 9? In order for this to be a negative, to get negative 9 here, this has to be a negative 8. But this is impossible because the fourth root of any number is always positive. So that's why there's no solution. And checking it, it looks like everything is okay, but checking it, it didn't work. So there's no solution. No value of x will make this true. And number 5, last one. Notice we have to isolate. But before we start, notice that 2 is the numerator of, so there's going to be 2 answers to this one because of that square. But let's isolate the power first. Two moves over to become a minus. 12 divided by 3. So x to the 2/5 equals 4. And again, there's 2 answers to this one. So if I do, I got to be careful. If I do 5 over 2, then I'm going to miss one of them. So if I just do the 5, the 5's cancel, I get x squared equals, and that's 4 multiplied by, I could leave it and go 2 squared like that. X squared is 2 to the 10. And because I have a square root, I will do the square root of x squared is equals to plus or minus the square root of 2 to the 10. So x is equal to square root of x squared is x. That's plus or minus. So that's 2 to the 10 over 2. So x equals plus or minus 2 to the 5. X equals plus or minus 32. So when x is 32, you got one answer. When x is negative 32 is the other answer. And both of these, when we check them, let's check them out. Let's check 32 first. So 32, 2/5 plus 2 is 16. And again, without working out this, I'm going to do 32 is 2 to the 5. And the 5's cancel, so I get 3 bracket 2 squared. We have to do our power first. That gives us a 4. That gives us 12 plus 2, 16. 16 equals 16. 12 plus 2. Now, oh yeah, see what happened? Like you would, like I would. I gotta be careful. Now, why I put 16 here, just a mistake, and why I call 12 plus 2 is 16, that's part of my, what I call a little learning. Sometimes I make those errors, but they're just, I want just silly errors, but I do make them. So I wrote down the 14 wrong, and when I added those, I got 16. So 14 equals 16. 14 equals 14 is okay. And now we'll do the negative 32 to show you that there's, oh, not 16 again. 16 is on my brain, is 14. So negative 32 to the 2/5 plus 2 is 14. And 32 is a negative 2 to the 5th power to the 2/5. 5's cancel, so I get 3 negative 2 squared. And we do, remember, you always have to do the PEMDAS. The brackets are done, but you got to do your power next. So you can't multiply and get negative 6 and then square it. You have to square first to get 4. Always obey PEMDAS. That's the order of operations. Extremely important. Notice it works out. So there's 2 answers, plus or minus 32. Only because you got to be cognizant. If you do see this, you got to be cognizant of that square. That square will give you 2 answers. But when you have a cube like this one, that cube will only give you 1 answer. When this is an odd power, you get 1 answer. When there's an even power, you get 2 answers. And that was a 4th. Well, I didn't discuss that this was a 4th power because we haven't done the polynomials and working out the, because there's another unit that I got to do on solving quartics equations. And that brings us to the end. If you like my video, click the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. Visit my website, www.mathsfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.